here at one of my favorite places on the planet, and that's Vanya Designs. I'm here with my good friend Alicia Ybarra, and I'm so excited to talk about what you do. First of all, she designs gowns for me. You've done, what, half a dozen at least?
Oh, at least for you, I'm sure.
And I love this because it's really neat, and this is what makes this so special for brides. So first of all, let's talk about how Vanya Designs came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of numbers of dresses, I think I've made over 500 in the history of my career. But my career started in my basement. So it was a way for me to stay home with my kids and make a little bit of money on the side, but not have to go to work or pay for daycare. That was the main
Smart.
thing. So I spent 3 years building the business in my basement, and it continued to grow and grow. Started out doing alterations and really any sewing that people would ask me to do, anything that would pay the bills. And then it continued to grow to the point where I was ready for a storefront, signed a lease on this little 900 square foot piece of property, and in 3 years' time I had outgrown that. And I was terrified when I signed my lease the first time. But the demand actually continued to just grow and grow. We're the only custom design place at the time, 10 years ago when I started, we were the only custom design place in several states. So there was definitely a demand for brides who were looking for that high-end couture experience or a gown that they couldn't find. And so they were finding me, and I was able to bring that to life for them.
What I love is, and I've done this to you several times, is I'll bring in pictures of 8 or 10 gowns, and I go, I like this on this and this on this, but I don't like any one gown all the way. Is that the best way for a bride to do? Come in with ideas, or do you rather start from scratch?
So I have had clients that do both ways. We usually have a more successful experience if you start with an idea. So if a bride can, even if it's pictures of things she doesn't like, that helps me to ask the right questions and be able to design and make something that she's going to love in the end. Most brides do have an idea. They're going to know if they like lace or if they like beads or if they don't, or if they want something simple. And if they aren't entirely sure, I'll ask them what silhouettes they like to wear in just regular dresses, and then we'll go from there.
So from start to finish, how long does this process normally take?
I like to have 6 months to a year, just because we are...
Never given you that. I know,
we don't go off of Sarah's time frame. For a wedding gown, I like to have 6 months to a year, just because of the amount of production that it takes and being able to work in all of the other weddings, because we're not just working on one wedding dress at a time. I'm usually working on about 50. That said, I can definitely accommodate earlier dates when needed.
But yeah, don't do it to her, trust me. I hate doing that to you, but I love what you come up with. And that's one of the fun things I think that makes you stand out, even more from not just designing gowns, but you really custom make. And what she can do is make you look, I think, even better than you look, because you look at maybe some things that I consider faults, but you know how to hide those or disguise them.
You know, as women, we're always our own worst critic. So no matter what size a client is, no matter how beautiful everyone else around her thinks that she is, we're gonna notice that one thing about ourselves that we don't like. So that's where our job comes into play, is by bringing attention to the areas that you want to accentuate and maybe camouflaging the areas that you don't.
Well, one of the cool things I think that you can do is you can turn dresses into art. And you have a great example of that.
I do.
Wow, this is gorgeous.
So this dress is actually one from a new collection that we're working on. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, and I'm doing something that was in my own head instead of what was in somebody else's head. But as far as a piece of art goes, absolutely. The beaded piece comes as a piece of fabric, and then what we'll do is I'll come in and I'll just shape the pieces and manipulate them and cut them out and sew them down to create the shapes that I want on the body, so that we have this beautiful masterpiece at the end.
Yeah, I think you've done a piece like that for me too. I've kind of let you, I give her the reins and I say just go do whatever you want, because your ideas are way better than mine are going to be.
Well, thank you.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you to design either a wedding gown or, you know, cocktail dress, whatever it is, how do we do that?
Yeah, so the website is the best way, so vanyadesigns.com. You can also find us on social media. Facebook and Instagram are the primary ones, and it's at Vanya Designs on all of the social media outlets.